This decision is pro-broadband. This decision is pro-competition. And this decision is for the right of Americans through their elected local officials to make their own decision about their broadband future.
Net neutrality is now in the books. As far as the Federal Communications Commission is concerned, it's what the Obama administration wanted, and that means yet another angry discourse over something that many believe was shoveled onto the American people without the proper discussion. And like it or not, this will change the way almost every person in America lives. For the better or worse is the only question. This is Left versus Right and a whole lot more. So welcome to Midpoint. First, radio talker and political strategist from the right, Josh Bernstein, and the president of Bannon Communications, a progressive political consultant, and thus from the left, Brad Bannon. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show again, Ed.
All right, Brad, I'm going to hit this right to you first of all. Here comes the right side of this. This is nothing more than a government takeover here. The federal government now is going to run the internet. You are going to crush any sort of innovation whatsoever, and the president jammed this down the throat of the American people without the proper discussion. Go.
I disagree. First of all, what the FCC did is it designated the internet as a public utility in the same way that telephones are public utilities, that electricity is companies are public utilities, and basically they've it's said that the internet is a public utility. It's so widespread now that basically it's equivalent to getting electric service or telephone service.
All right, Josh, here you go. It's to you now, because it sounds as if, first of all, from the left, they say this makes all the sense in the world and you're complaining about nothing.
Well, of course, that would be their reaction to it. Look, this is nothing more than Obamacare for the internet. We need to pass it to see what's in it. This will eventually curb free speech. It does not increase competition. In fact, it decreases competition. Because when you think about it, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, some of these big conglomerates that are on the internet, those are the ones that do the majority of the business on the internet as far as content, distribution, things of that nature. So now all of a sudden, ABC website that no one's ever heard of or has never even clicked on is all of a sudden supposed to now be just as fast as some of those others. You're going to see a slowdown in the internet, probably within about 90 days. And I believe that this is a complete government takeover of the internet, and it's just another egregious move by an extremely egregious president.
Okay, then why? Because Brad, hang on a sec, because I'm coming to you with this one. Josh, why would the government want to control this? I mean, seems at least to some people the internet was running just fine, and you know that I'm nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more kind of thing on that.
Right, and I do follow your narrative on that. Look, this administration wants to control all of our lives, from Obamacare taking over 1/5 of the U.S. economy to forcing executive amnesty on us, and we have nobody, at least at this point, that's willing to fight up and fight back against it. It's absolutely terrible. Again, this is the most aggressive move that the FCC has ever made, and what I find just absolutely crazy is the fact that in 2007, when Barack Obama was a senator, he actually said it would be irresponsible for the FCC to take such actions, and then even co-sponsored a bill that demanded a 90-day comment.
Okay, let's stop right there. Brad, that's a good point. The president at one time said this was the wrong thing to do, so why now is he all of a sudden wanting to basically put the government in control of the internet? And quite frankly, you hear a lot of people who would say putting the government in control of anything these days is a disaster in waiting.
What the FCC has done does not put the federal government in control of the internet. There are no restrictions on content or anything. All it says is that companies cannot give better service to people who pay premium prices.
But that is control, though, Brad. Isn't that control? Because then you're telling a private company what they can and can't do and what they can and can't charge.
Well, we do that. We do that to electricity companies. We do it to phone companies, and the internet is as important, or even more important, than the telephone now.
Okay.
And the reality is, this is something that, you know, what this would do if there was not net neutrality is that your average person would get slower service than bigger customers. And the Republican Congress can pass a law that tells the FEC not to do it, but I bet you they won't, because if you look at the national polls, young people, the people who use the internet most, are overwhelmingly in favor of net neutrality.
Okay, I'm going to hold you there, Brad. I'm going to hold you there because I know, Josh, you had something you wanted to add. Go.
Well, yeah, there was H.R. 279 that was proposed, which would actually amend the Communications Act of 1934 to say that the FCC could not do exactly what they're trying to do. But moreover, I want to talk about the language of the left, net neutrality. See, the left, when they want to get something past the American people that is not in their best interest or in the country's best interest for that matter, and freedom for that matter, they give it a nice sounding, cheerful name, kind of like the Affordable Care Act.
Well, but let's get past the name here. Let's get past the name here for a second. I get all that, but let's get past this and go right down to the meat here, Josh, because there's some people who would say this is actually a good idea because, quite frankly, you've got consumers that are getting screwed every day by cable companies, by broadband companies. Rates are going up. They're getting charged for them exponentially. People are asking for some help. They'll say, wait a minute, maybe the government does need to be in charge because somebody's got to get on these folks.
Well, look, I understand that argument, but I don't agree with that argument because, again, the basis of capitalism is free enterprise. And a business should be able to go online, start up a business, and be able to flourish online and do whatever it is that they want to do. Now, just like in capitalism, if one business is doing more business than the other one, well, then that other business needs to decide what it is that they're not doing to be competitive with the other one. So again, I look at it as this. If you want to send mail across the country and you don't want it to take 14 days, what do? You pay a little bit extra so that you can get it there and overnight it. I believe it's the same thing. We have an information superhighway. There are high-speed lanes and low-speed lanes for a reason. Let free enterprise and capitalism dictate what goes on.
We'll set it there. Brad, 20 seconds left. Capitalism, it's a good thing. Why not?
What the FEC did is a good thing because it gives more people, millions of Americans, the same kind of access as it was large companies. And what the FEC did yesterday was to protect consumers. And if you look at the national surveys, Americans are overwhelmingly in favor of net neutrality, especially young people.
All right, we're going to have to hold it there. It's a good thing. I guess maybe we're in good stead right now because they haven't cut off our lines. That means everybody's doing good right now. Josh Bernstein and Brad Bannon, thanks so much for joining us, gentlemen.
My pleasure.
Ed.
All right, take care. Slammed into our psyche, American healthcare stinks and the British get it right, but do they? We're next on Midpoint.